Okay, well, guys, we are formally starting our session. Whatever we discussed on day one, you can think of like it was like tip of an iceberg. We we try to understand the discipline agile, its foundation, its mindset, its role and responsibilities. We also talked about the choices discipline agile provides us in terms of life cycles like project or product life cycles, lean or agile life cycles, exploratory and program life cycles for different scenarios. And the purpose of providing the choices is we believe that context counts. One shoe doesn't fit for all. Okay, one size is not for all. So it's not compulsory that the whole organization and its teams they are working on Scrum or XP or Kanban, uh, because like each team is unique from the other team. They can choose any life cycle of their choice. Uh, there are many questions on it. There are things people say that then what about the reporting? What about working with a portfolio? It would be a nightmare if different teams are working on the different type of life cycles. I mean, in other words, different processes. Okay. Uh, Discipline Agile believes in repeatable results than repeatable processes. It's not important to have like repeatable processes for each team. More important is the repeatable value that is generated as a result of that team's performance or work. Also, we have seen that the role of discipline agile senior scrum master is not only work with the team to help them to go through different stages to become high performing team by using superior people skills like emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, so on and so forth. That's what we discussed in the last two sessions. But as a senior scrum master, you must have much more understanding than what we have discussed in last uh, two modules. Uh, Today is our third module of 4 hours. We are going to start our lesson 2, module 2. In total, we will be covering 6 modules. One is already covered in the last session, 5 are left. We will try to cover at least 2.5 today and 2.5 tomorrow. So I would request that remain very focused, because like discipline agile method or toolkit is not a very simple method like Scrum, because we believe that the development work is not a simple work. It is pretty complex. It depends on many different factors. So for proper guidance, it's important that you should also have a deep understanding of many different agile practices and much more than that. Today, we are going to talk about tactical scaling, and especially in the complex situations. It's a role of a senior Scrum Master that he or she should be helping his or her team uh, in choosing the right life cycles, in choosing the right processes, and finding the right way of working uh, in different situations. Those situations could be very simple, could be like uh, medium level with medium level complexity, or could be very complex. Today, in our module of first part in tactical scaling, we will be discussing these key topics. Adnan, would you like to read for me what's the agenda of this session of tactical scaling?
Yes, sir. Business agility, how functional areas can leverage agile and lean practices,
Hmm.
strategies, strategic scaling based tactical scaling, tactical scaling factors, how scaling factors impact process goals.
And we will start with defining the business agility and how can we ensure that our enterprise or business is agile. And then when we will be talking about the scaling, discipline agile divides the scaling into two parts. One is tactical scaling. Tactical scaling is scaling at the team level. Okay, because you will be working with the teams and teams may come across complex situations, okay, that result in like different way of working than a situation that is comparatively simple, for example. And the other way of scaling is strategic scaling, where basically we scale the agile practices from team level to the enterprise level, including DevOps, value stream, and enterprise itself. So it's your role. You should have a good understanding of tactical scaling and helping the team come out of complex situation by applying the DA toolkit. And what do you think? What does it mean? Business agility. What do you think? Which option is the best option out of these three? Mustafa.
Many agile development teams being fast-paced organization adopting agile throughout. I believe adopting agile throughout all functional areas.
Is the correct answer. I agree. What about other guys?
I think all three are important first in their own aspect because you have to have many teams being a fast-paced organization and then having agile through all functional areas. So I would go with all three.
Yeah, Fran, I agreed. Agile development teams, being a fast-paced organization, all these are different components of business agility. If you don't have agile teams, if you are not a fast-paced organization, obviously you are not an agile business for sure. However, the most important thing is that an organization who adopted the agile mindset and implemented the agile practices throughout all functional areas is like more suitable answer, because like many agile development teams is not equal to business agility. That's we understand, isn't it?
Okay. I mean, it's a different way of looking, but yes, what
Yeah,
you're saying
okay.
makes sense. If you explain it properly, yes, it does make sense.
Yeah, so let's have a look on this definition.
Or maybe it's a common agile practice, maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, the only thing we are trying to say is like if there are many agile teams, but a few of them are not agile. For example, development teams are agile, but IT operations are not agile. Our support teams are not practicing, adopting the agile mindset and practicing agile. Then we really cannot say that our business is agile. As long as all the functional areas they are adopting agile, then we can say that our enterprise is agile. Similarly, fast-paced organization only is not enough. It is more than that, and that is given in this definition. uh, uh, and Farhan, can you read this definition for me?
Business agility is an organization's ability to rapidly adapt to market and environmental changes in productive and cost-effective ways.
So not only the organization should be fast-paced, it should be able to rapidly adapt and respond to market and environmental changes, but they should be doing it in a productive and cost-effective manner as well. And we can only do it when we are understanding the agile mindset. And the agile mindset is the stakeholders are the people who should be identifying, prioritizing, and sequencing the work. And then this work has been brought to the development teams who are implementing it. And if we have those development teams like product or service teams, instead of like project teams, it would be even better. But important thing here is that requirements are coming from the stakeholders. They are the one who are identifying and prioritizing the requirements, and then this work has been brought to the development teams. A few other names of business agility is enterprise or organizational agility. Now, why business agility is important? We have clearly seen in the previous slide that as long as we are fast in adoption to changing market needs, we will be able to produce the value, the highest value within shorter amount of time. But again, important thing here is it should be done in a predictable, sustainable manner with high quality. Agile way of working, when it was initially developed, it was meant to cater unpredictable, uncertain problems. And the purpose of Agile was like when we are doing work, we should be able to do our work so that for that unpredictable requirements and new technology, we should be more and more predictable. We can clearly show to our sponsors, to our executives that, okay, how we are performing. So that's why business agility is pretty important. Any question about this concept? I'm more than happy
I'm
to.
late, I missed that. Apologies.
Yeah, that's all right. So we are talking about business agility, and we define that an organization is an agile organization who has agility throughout its different functional areas, not only in multiple teams. I mean, it should be much more than only solution development teams. It should be in IT operations, it should be portfolio program level, it should be in other departments as well. Most of the organizations are still not fully agile. They are still in the hybrid stage, and it is common throughout the world. Okay, and then we have seen that the purpose of business agility is like we should be adopt to market conditions very fast, and we can only do it when we are working closely with our stakeholders. Our requirements are coming from the stakeholders, and then they are handed over to our development teams who are working on them and showing the work produced to the stakeholder, and we are running this cycle again and again. Then we have seen that business agility is pretty important because it helps us to realize the highest value, okay, through prioritization, obviously, through short iteration by working on small batches of work. It really helps us to produce the value in a sustainable and predictable manner with built-in quality. Because we believe in quality should be built in, and all those practices as we talked about test driven development or test first development, all these are used for the sake of producing high quality. Basically, this thing is also explained here as well. It is showing that it is talking about that we should be working in small delivery increments. It helps us to address the changes that are coming from the stakeholders, and we can always pivot and go back and change our direction with a very low cost. The concept of failing fast. Why failing fast is good? Because it doesn't spend a lot of our energies, resources, time, and money, and we can always go back and find a different way that that should be helpful for our stakeholders. Again, discussion continued, and as we talked about that, what are the things that make a business agile? And I was discussing with Farhan, and Farhan said that all the bits like many development teams, fast-paced organization, and agile throughout the different areas, all these things combinedly make a business agile. In fact, the concept we were just talking about, that if some of our teams or multiple of our teams who are agile, it really doesn't mean the whole business agility. Business agility comes when all the functional areas are agile. The same concept, not only development, but also operational areas. If they are agile, then they contribute to business agility too. And here an example given for the marketing team. As you know that the people who are from the marketing background, normally when they are launching a new product, what they do is like normally they do some surveys, they conduct some focus groups so that they can see that, okay, the product they are going to launch will be of some value for the customers or not. But here the example is given that instead of running the focus groups and surveys, why not just roll out the campaigns to the market and then see that how people behave or how people respond to that product, and then adjust to the campaign. And obviously it's not required that you run that campaign for all of your market. It could be only for a short segment of your market. Mean working in small batches instead of doing it for your whole market. And then when we are agile, we are following rolling wave planning. Anyone of you who didn't hear about rolling wave planning? So it's good everybody aware of rolling wave planning. In agile world, or in fact, rolling wave planning is not something that is used in project management or product management. It is used throughout different areas, for example, into finance, into accounting, into HR, etc. So rolling wave is a general concept. It's not specific with project or product management. But if you talk about agile product management or project management, it says that we should be doing a detailed planning for our first iteration. Okay, but it's not required or it's not recommended that you should be doing it for your future iteration. You can do somewhat of planning for your future iterations, like medium level detailed planning for iteration 2, but very high level planning for iteration 3, and no planning for iteration 4 or 5, so on and so forth. So this is the concept of rolling wave planning, and obviously it goes hand in hand with the progressive elaboration. As you keep on elaborating, you get better understanding, and it helps you to make decisions better. So in lean, one of the practices called make decisions late. Okay, but not too much late. Should be at you can say that as much late where you can say that last responsible moment. Okay, but shouldn't be late than that. Here an example of finance department is given. We can do high level planning for the annual budget, but it's better if we can do a detailed level planning for like quarterly or bi-yearly or 6 monthly, etc. It gives us better control on our expenditure. Okay, so that was business agility. J&A time. Fine, would you like to read for me this first J&A? I cannot hear you.
Sorry, but yeah, for sure. Business agility is also referred to as rapid operations.
Yeah, nee.
Oh, you want me to answer that? Yeah.
Some mean, but can you really say that business agility is equal to rapid operations?
Now that you have said it, it can. Well, yeah, to some extent, yes.
Yeah.
To an extent, yes, right?
Yeah,
So if I think about it, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but it could be like much more than that, just rapid operations. It is
Mm.
more about like adapting fast, okay, to the changing market needs to produce the highest value in a sustainable, predictable manner with highest quality. It's not only rapid operation, it's much more than that. So I would say that its name, it's not just only rapid operation, it's much more than that. Okay, a holistic definition of uh, business agility. And then Farhan.
Okay. Operational business areas at marketing or finance departments may use role wave planning to function more rapidly. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can use.
true.
Okay.
Makes
So,
sense.
yeah, rolling wave planning is like, as I mentioned, it's not only specific for projects or products, it could be used for operations as well. And then there comes DA mindset that promotes business agility and tactical scaling. For example, context count or enterprise awareness. Uh, Context counts talk about that, okay, the thing is like people, teams, organizations, how they interact with each other, they always do it in a unique fashion, and discipline agile always help us to tailor our processes and structure according to the situation. It result in like more business agility. It really help us, the DA tool could really help us to implement, adopt and implement uh, the agile way of working throughout different functional areas of an organization. Another important thing is that the teams, either they are operations teams or the solution development teams, uh, they should be working in an enterprise aware manner, mean their objectives should be aligned with the organizational objective. They shouldn't be working within the context of their team. They should have a good understanding. They should be understanding the needs of the organization as well. And in lean terminology, this concept is called optimize the whole. Okay, instead of like thinking on a component level, we should be thinking on a system level. Similarly, the promises that help us to achieve the business agility, that is through accelerate value realization. uh, and we can accelerate the value realization for our customers when we will be working on the small badges. I believe that everybody understands that that's key. We shouldn't be working on like a big chunk of work at a time. And also we can add in the business agility if we are going to reuse our current assets, not only reusing them, but also improving their quality as well. If we can do it, that's fantastic. And on top of that, the collaboration within the team and among the teams, they are also very helpful in achieving the business agility. And then the guidelines that help us to achieve the business agility. 2 points. Semi-autonomous self-organizing teams, the teams who are empowered, who are self-organized, self-managed, should be able to define their work, should be able to write the acceptance criteria, should be able to distribute the work among themselves, but still should be working with the senior management in a semi-autonomous manner. Uh, they should understand that they will be governed, but senior management should be governing them in an awesome fashion, in a fashion that the team deserves. Okay. And then leverage and enhance organizational assets. We just talked about it, that if we are going to use and improve our current organizational assets, current systems, current solutions to resolve the problem, it really adds in the business agility. The role of DA, Senior Scrum Master. Very simple, based on your context, help the team to choose their way of working. And that's what we are going to look today. And when we say our way of working, I am talking about that, okay, by analyzing the context, Senior Scrum Master should be able to guide the team to choose the right life cycle and the right strategies. And I hope you understand when I talk about strategies, I'm talking about process goals, the decision points, and the agile strategies to basically implement those decisions. Each goal diagram. Do you remember the goal diagram in your mind?
Yes.
That's awesome, Fran. So how many components each goal diagram have?
3.
Yeah, in fact, 4, but 3 are
Okay.
that is shown in the goal diagram itself. The fourth one
Oh.
is the description and trade-offs.
Okay.
Yeah, so process goals, and then list of option, goal diagram, list of options, and then option descriptions and trade-offs. So total 4 items.
4 details. Okay.
Yeah, and also today we are going in depth of too many other things. So I believe that everybody should be very attentive throughout the session. Previously, what we discussed, we just looked on DAD, disciplined agile delivery. Mean the process goals or the goal diagram or the component of toolkit that only focus on the development work, the solution development work or delivery team or solution development team. Today, after first session, we will be going much more in depth of DA toolkit. Process goals are also called process capabilities. This is just another naming convention. You remember all these process goals. Anyone has any issue about it? How many are they? 8 that could be used while making decisions when a new project is started or new product is started. That is inception phase. Okay, and 5 process goals for construction or development or engineering phase. Okay, where we generate the value, and then 2 when we shift the value from development work to the operations work, and 6 for ongoing improvement. And if you remember
There are
recently,
3 more.
yeah, added 3 more, and they are like about how to measure the outcomes, and how, and it also talk about the metrics, measure the performance. Okay, and lastly, they also talk about intake, intake discovery, mean what is the best way to gather the requirements from the stakeholders. Now, after looking on these process goals, which are 24, and again, remember guys, this is only for DAD, Discipline Agile Delivery. We didn't touch any of the process goal for the DevOps, for value stream or business level or enterprise level agility. Here it is showing in the upcoming slide that how can we further explore these process goals. We already did it, isn't it? Do you remember in the last session we did it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we already did it, but we will quickly go through it just for those guys who missed a session or something. For example, if this is a process called secure funding, okay, when you are thinking about how to secure funding, you think about three different aspects. What should be our funding strategy? What is the funding scope? And what should be the way to access the funds? Okay, when we talk about funding strategies, you can clearly see that arrow is given here. Arrow telling us that charge by feature is one of the best agile strategy, then cost plus, then time and material, stage gate, fixed price, or with a range, or fixed price exact. Now, the thing is like, as Mustafa was mentioning that organizations are still very hybrid, very waterfall. They might not allow you to develop a contract or to go for a funding option that is charged by feature. So one of the good starting point is either go for time and material, okay, charge based on time and material, or based on like stage gates, which are like our phase gates. Okay, at the end of, for example, one release or three iterations, so on and so forth. Okay, but our aim should be, we should aiming for this type of funding strategy. Similarly, funding scope, that talks about that, okay, should be fund for our projects, should be should enterprise fix our funds for a product, or line of a business, or value stream. And this is very key. In fact, this funding scope determines everything else. It determines that, okay, what about our team? How we will be working? What would be our structure? What would be the structure of one team and multiple teams? What would be the structure of like a program? Okay, if funding is only for the projects, and all the times we have to gather the team members for a project who are going to leave again at the end of a project, then we will never become a long-standing stable team. And all the times we have to go through all those stages of like inception and transition. We will not be able to become a team who can deliver the value continuously. So for a high performing team, it's very important that funding scope should be at least for a product level, where there could be more than one project. There could be 3 or 4 releases, for example. But the best way is where funding is value streams. However, this type of funding in pure agile, uh, it is being done. Okay, but in most of the organizations who are still hybrid, they release the funds for the projects only. Here, Discipline Agile recommends that at least the funding scope should be at the product level, where we will have a very clear picture with the help of product roadmap that, okay, our team will be working for next 2 years together. Okay, and we will have our funds available for next 2 years. And then access funds, that's another bit. And Mustafa, would you like to read 3 options?
IT funding pool, informal request, formal request.
Which one is the best one as recommended by Discipline Agile?
Informal request.
No, it is not the best one. The best one is?
Yes, it is the recommended one, I believe. It is the least, I mean, it has to be chosen. At least this should be chosen, right? Informal request.
Yes. I mean, what it says that team should not be spending a lot of time on formal requests to release the funds. Okay. Though best strategies, there should be a funding pool and funds should be released like in a seamless manner. That's best. But if for finance department, they might not be agreed for it. In that case, one of the best starting point is, and for this, the finance department and the development team should be on the same page. Okay, that based on some informal request that could be just an email, the funds should be released or funds should be accessed by the development teams. So we already talked about it, therefore we are moving further.
Sorry, Faiz, can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
Just and apologies if I'm taking that, and just let me know if everybody does. Just a concept between ordered and unordered list.
Yeah, surely. Okay, because like Fahim, I think we discussed it in the last session.
Okay,
And you were,
please ignore it. I'll review the lecture then.
no, we can have a quick look. Okay. Here, the top one is order list and the bottom one is unordered list. Order list and unordered list, the only difference is in order list, the top one is the highly recommended one. Second one is the second highly recommended, so on and so forth. In unordered list, nothing is the best way of working. Nothing is highly recommended. However, whatever is shown in this bold and italic, it is a good starting point. So here basically they are talking about, okay, this is this particular component is about like team development. Okay.
I think I get it. I was just trying to remember. I think I get it. So we can say the board is we can take any of these. But yeah, sorry. I just was trying to refresh my concept. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys.
We will keep on talking about it today. Okay, guys. Now let's move further and talk about tactical scaling. Guys, what does it mean, tactical scaling? Anyone would like to comment? Fahim, we discussed two types of scaling. One is tactical scaling, other is strategic scaling. As per discipline agile, what are they and what's the difference between two?
You got me there. I have to. So technical, if I remember correctly, the technical scaling factors were which helps you understand the team dynamics and understand the team work dynamics. And if I don't, I have to revise that concept and the team dynamics, what the team size is, complexity, what's the distribution of the team if they are close, what's the geographic distribution for a logistics point of view, same building, something around that. I think there, if I remember, I think there were 5 or 6 factors, I think, if I remember correctly.
And all of them were at the team level. That's important. So tactical scaling is where we are talking about the scaling factor on a team level, not on the enterprise level. And strategic scaling is when we are talking about implementing Agile, not only at a team level, but taking it to the organizational level. This question is highly expected in the exam. Okay, and that's why I discussed about it. When other methods talk about the scaling, they mostly talk about how to take the Agile to the other levels, like DevOps level or program or portfolio level. But here, discipline Agile divides into 2 components, not only scaling on a team level, but beyond team level. Here in this particular session, we are talking about tactical scaling, the scaling at a team level. And there are 5 steps for that purpose. Firstly, you must analyze the context of your team, context of your product or the project on which you are working. And then based on that context, you should be choosing the best life cycle. Okay. Agile, lean, continuous delivery, agile or lean, program or exploratory. And then once life cycle is chosen, then you can work on the process goals. Okay, and it's not compulsory you should be working on all the 24 process goals. You might firstly you have to identify and prioritize the process goals your team really need it. okay, and then work on those process goals so that you can choose your own way of working. Okay, once you made those choices and choose your own way of working, practice it, and then uh, uh, evolve your way of working from your learnings. Improve uh, improve your way of working, or evolve your way of working. Now let's move further. In this particular slide we already covered. We talked about tactical agility at scale and strategic agility at scale. Okay, and I believe everybody understand. Anyone has any confusion about tactical and strategic agility? No?
All good. Thank you. Makes
Yeah.
sense now.
Yeah. So let's move further. And look on this spider diagram. It's very famous spider diagram in discipline agile, and it helps us to do our tactical scaling. Okay. Now, if you remember the Hall project, that is like AI-based lawn mover. Uh, we have seen that it was a complex problem and the team members were geographically distributed, so on and so forth. In fact, there is an activity book given to you. If you got a chance to look on that activity book, a scenario is given to you, okay, and they are talking about, okay, if this is our team structure and this is how our team is distributed, either they are co-located or in different areas of the world, how you will be using this information to do the tactical scaling, how you will be analyzing the context. Let me quickly go through these different scaling factors first. But instead of Hall project, what I will be doing, I will be requesting you guys for your projects, try to develop this spider web. Okay, firstly have a look. If you are near to the center, okay, your problem is simple. If you are going away from the center, your problem will becoming complex and complex, and you have to deal with many different process goals. Okay, you have to do a detailed work to choose your way of working as a senior Scrum Master for your team, obviously with the help of team. So team sizes could be like anything between 2 to 200 plus. Okay, if 2 team members, life is easy. Okay, if there are 200 plus members, then you have to think about the coordination, collaboration, and developing the ground rules or team charter, so on and so forth. Similarly, if your team is co-located, life is very easy. Okay, dedicated co-located team, everybody sitting facing each other. There is no communication issue, collaboration issues. There is in fact a lot of communication going on, osmotic communication going on, osmotic learning is going on. But if you are sitting in the same building, you are not co-located anymore. You are distributed team, even in the same building. Okay, and you might need to use some coordination tools, communication tools such as Zoom, Jira, so on and so forth. And then if you are sitting in different buildings, maybe in the same city or within a country with same time zone, still it's more challenging. Okay, and you might need to use many different techniques that can improve the collaboration coordination. For example, boundary spanners, so on and so forth. However, even if your time zone is different, then it is awful. Life becomes very, very tough. For example, like at the moment here it's 12 o'clock at night, and there it could be 2:30. I mean, things are not that good as compared to if we all would be in the, for example, you can say in Medina. Okay, everybody would be happy and doing the training. And it is said that as long as your overlapping is 5 hours plus, still it's okay. overlapping 5 hours plus mean that you still have 5 hours of common working time. Still it's okay, but more than 5, life become very, very tough. And we have seen this thing that it is very common because nowadays the business people are sitting in, for example, European countries, and um, Scrum masters, development team, they are sitting in China, in India, or in Thailand, so on and so forth. So, or even in Pakistan, I have seen this trend quite a lot. So I have seen the people in those countries working at nights, all the time at nights, because there is no overlap at all. Uh, and once that's the situation, you have to think thoroughly, especially around those process goals who talk about the coordination of the team, collaboration of the team, and exploring the scope, so on and so forth. Not only distribution could be geographically, it could be organizational distribution. Because like when we are talking about value streams and cross-functional people, those cross-functional people could be from single division, okay? Uh, but they could be from different divisions, but within a same company, or it could be a joint venture where people are coming from all different companies. We have seen this as well. Many projects or products are developed where there was a joint venture. And if you also have some contractors, then life is more tough, especially around like contracting, scheduling, release management, and quality assurance, uh, contracting, so on and so forth. And this is the case when you have few contractors on your team, okay? But if your whole work is outsourced, in that case, as a senior Scrum Master, how you should be working, especially on a client end, okay? You need to think quite a lot about like the type of contexts you should be using, the performance meetings you are conducting. Maybe you like to have like product demo meetings like each day instead of like after 2 weeks, especially when you are outsourcing the work and work is very critical. And then there comes compliance things. If there is no compliance, you are developing a simple website where there are no government or regulatory authority requirements. Life is much easier. You might need not to do any documentation at all. You need not to keep any type of record, any type of evidence. However, if regulatory and compliance requirements are around process, like for example, you are in a education sector where there are regulatory authorities who are looking on the processes, how you are delivering the education, so on and so forth, or any other type of organization, but still at a process level. Or for example, in the banking sector, where compliance requirements are very, very high. How many of you from the banking sectors?
Sir, me.
Yeah, most of us. You can talk more about financial compliance. I mean, how critical and how tough it is.
See, the compliance factor itself is a very complicated thing because, you know, we are complied with the central bank, and there are many other regulations, international regulations we also have to comply with. So it's you know, having you know, implementing the compliance itself is a big showstopper for any project.
I believe the same. I believe the
main
same.
showstoppers in banking, I through experience, I'm telling you, two major showstoppers are operational risk and compliance.
I agree.
So yes, and these guys are not giving us tough time, but these guys are trying to, you know, covering all the aspects where, you know, any product is going, you know, through a phase and its development cycle or whatever that is. They have to ensure that it is properly complied, or, you know, we will end up, if it is not there, then we will end up paying penalties and hefty penalties in millions.
True. Agreed. And the thing is, like, if you mean it's everywhere nowadays. You cannot say that okay, it's only in the Western countries. This compliance, financial compliance, is like very strict throughout all the countries in the world. Because like now on a global level, all these are connected with each other, and that famous. Financial action task force and its list, because of that, like compliance requirements are like uh, very much required in all the countries. And then there comes life critical, for example, who are developing vaccines for the corona, or who are working in the defense sector, so on and so forth. Requirements are even much more than the financial or process level. And then there comes technical complexity. It is talking about the development work itself. It is talking about the coding, the programming itself, and the solution you are developing. The solution could be new standalone solution that is not going to be integrated with the current legacy systems. Fantastic, comparatively very easy. Just develop the solution and run it. But if you have to integrate this solution with already existing legacy solution, or you are going to improve your current legacy solution, things become more and more technically complex. And here the architecture and best programming practices or solution development practices play a key role. And if you are implementing on multi-platforms, for example, you are doing it for different type of operating systems or different type of devices like uh, iPads or mobiles or laptops, so on and so forth, then you have to focus quite a lot on those process goals who are linked with uh, technical aspects, for example, testing strategies or architecture, or using existing solutions, or testing practices, for example, integration testing, so on and so forth. And when we talk about domain complexity, that is basically talking about the domain in which you are working. It could be a simple website, it could be an e-commerce website, it could be a banking app, or maybe you are designing a system for an aeroplane. Okay, in that case, domain will become more and more complex. As a senior Scrum Master, you must be able to identify the context, and based on that context, you should be making some decisions. We discuss all these bits on our first slide, so I'm skipping it. Okay, now guys, just take 2 minutes, not a lot. Just think about your current team. It could be product or project team, and think about the product and project you are working on. Can you develop a spider diagram, maybe in your mind? And I would request one of you to share with me.
I can certainly do it. The work that I do, it's not a project, but it's kind of setting up a divisional level PMO that I'm doing. But yeah,
Yeah.
I can certainly have a go. I think it's
Mhm.
so one of the things that I think, and this is a very good point, is when we talk about the team size, should we consider the stakeholders we're dealing with or my own team?
Your own
My
team.
own
Your
team,
own.
right? So,
Yeah.
so it's small. It's just a team of 5, less than 10. It's less than 10 somewhere
Yeah.
here. Yeah. Geographical distribution is same time zone. Yeah. And it is single division. Yeah. Organizational distribution is single division. Compliance is process. Technical complexity is multi-platform legacy.
Oh.
Yeah. And domain complexity is Complex. It's somewhere between complex and very complex.
So,
Yeah.
so that will be the spider diagram,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. And now, once you are able to develop your spider diagram, the next thing is you have to choose your life cycle. That's number one. And also, you need to think about the process goals that you should be working on. If anyone else has worked on this spider diagram, can I request anyone else? Farhan.
Mine is like 10,
Mm-hmm.
same time zone, single company, process, new integrated solution,
Yeah.
and complex.
Yeah.
I think that would be mine.
Yeah, your spider diagram. And thanks a lot. And similarly, we can do it for any of our project. Okay. Now they ask you about hall and they ask you about doing an activity, but we already did it for our own product. So that's why I'm skipping it so that we can also cover the content within the time. Otherwise, you can go to activity workbook and complete this activity in your free time. Is it fine, guys?
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I think makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and for Hall project, that was basically the situation, a very complex project because they are developing a hardware product and that needs to interact with the human. So obviously we can understand that it would be a complex product, and if it is further being controlled with the mobile apps, etc., then we can say that it will be technically complex as well. And if team is distributed, then situation is very complex. Here, this slide help us to choose the right life cycle, and I would request Adnan, and just go through this flow chart. It is helping you to choose the right life cycle. And this time we are thinking about the Hall project itself. Okay. And we are going to choose a right life cycle. Okay. First thing, Adnan.
If you may zoom it a little, Doctor.
I think I won't be able to because this is full screen. Can anyone else read?
Yeah, I can read it.
Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot, Fahim.
No, so the first one is, has someone else chosen the life cycle for you?
Yes or no? If
So
yes,
then I'll read the blue one and then you can answer. So that's okay.
yeah. If someone else chosen the life cycle for you, request them or convince them that let us choose our own life cycle. That's what a team should do. Okay. If you chose it, then let's move further.
Yeah. Do you understand what customers want?
Yeah. Yeah. If no, you are basically developing an MVP, that is minimum viable product. Okay, that you can say a prototype, for example, to see that the product you are developing is what market needs or not. However, uh, if you know the needs of the customer, okay, then we can go to next stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is this a large program requiring a team of teams?
If yes, then we can go for program lifecycle. If no, it is if it's only one team, for example, a team of 10 people or 15 people or more or less, then we can go to next stage. That is,
is this being funded as a project?
if it is funded as a project, then if yes, okay.
Is this a low risk something you have done? Like, is this a low risk something that you have done before?
If yes,
Then does the team have traditional skills, mindset?
If yes,
Does the team want to improve?
no, keep staying with the waterfall. If they want to improve, okay, or they don't have traditional skills or mindset, or really want to improve their mindset, okay, or the risk is not a low risk project, in each option we can come here, okay, at this stage. Okay.
Which is, do you face rapidly? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you wanted.
Yeah. Carry on.
Do you face rapidly changing requirements or priorities?
Yes, if the requirements are very changing, even iterations cannot work for you. Okay, mean requirements are changing, for example, on daily basis. Okay, in that case, you might like to go for Kanban life cycle. Okay, and also you can go for Kanban or lean based life cycle if you don't want a major change in your way of working, a major transformation. Okay, major transformation mean that okay, instead of doing waterfall, or you are fully shifted towards iteration based. That's a full transformation. Okay, if you don't want full transformation, in that case, you can still go for Kanban, because Kanban doesn't ask you to change everything. Okay, it just help you to change your way of working. And now let's move to this stage.
Okay.
If it is not funded as a project, next is,
do you want to release often? So software release often.
Yeah. Now here the thing is like, if it is not funded as a project, mean it is funded as a product, or better, that is line of business or value stream. And if you don't, do you want to release often? No. Okay. Yeah. Here there are two options. Sorry. Here there are two options. Okay, you don't want to release often, but you have rapidly changing requirements or priorities, then you can go for lean life cycle. But if you have to release often, okay,
do you need to release very frequently?
Very frequently, that is basically continuous delivery lean or continuous delivery agile. Let me explain to you about it, what I am saying. I am saying that if you are choosing your own life cycle, and if it is not project based but product based, means you are a product team, a continuous delivery team, in that case, you will be able to produce the business values or business increments very, very often. Okay. And for that, you will be a long-standing stable teams, and you will be delivering either continuous delivery lean or continuous delivery agile. And out of these two, continuous delivery agile and continuous delivery lean, this one, the lean one, is even better than the agile. Reason? Because in agile, you will be releasing at the end of iteration. That will be, for example, 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 week, depends how long is your iteration. But in continuous delivery lean, it would be whenever it is completed. Either it is completed after 1 day, or if it is completed after 3 weeks, we don't know. Whenever feature is completed, we will be delivering it and deploying it into our operations. So this is continuous delivery lean and agile. Okay, now let's come here. If your requirements are not rapidly changing, then in that case, agile life cycle is the best one for you. Okay, project. Okay, sorry. Project. Okay, and you are not delivering very often, requirements are not very changing, then there is agile life cycle. Okay, so we must need to understand, for project life cycles, lean and agile is best. For product life cycle, where continuous delivery is there, the continuous delivery, agile and lean is the best. If there are multiple teams, then program. And if you don't know the needs of your customer, then exploratory life cycle. The next stage is, after choosing your life cycle, you have to think about different process goals. There are 24 in total, but here few of them are given. And now I would be requesting you guys that for each of this scaling factor, okay, each of this scaling factor, try to fit in these goals. I mean, what you need to do is look on explore scope and see that which scaling factor will be impacting this process goal. I mean, if your team size, if it is big, should you, if you're thinking not big, if you're thinking about the team size, will explore scope is the process goal you want to further investigate? Do you want to further investigate identify architecture strategy when you are thinking about team size, so on and so forth? So what you need to do is you need to, you can work together, okay, but I will be quiet. You will be working together, thinking about these process goals and fitting them under each scaling factor. Like for example, here I can quickly show you and we'll go back. Under team size, which process goals you must be investigating. For geographical distribution, which process goals? For organizational distribution, which process goals? Compliance, which process goal? If domain complexity, then which process goal? Then technical complexity, which process goals? Now, you need to tell me, explore scope. You can switch on your mics.
So I think I can. Sorry, I'll wait for this a bit.
Yeah.
So
Explore.
scope, yeah. I think if I look at explore scope, then I definitely would like to look at the domain complexity.
Yeah.
Scope will impact the kind of the team distribution that I would have. Geographical distribution.
Okay. Yeah, and I would say, if we are able to, compliance. If we are able to find like one area, one scaling area, it's more than enough so that we can do this activity quickly. But
Okay.
It's very good, Fahim, you identify, explore scope in geographical distribution, compliance, and domain complexity. We will be looking at it. What about identify architecture strategy?
Technical
That should be in domain complexity, technical complexity, I believe.
Yeah, technical complexity. I agreed. Anywhere else?
I think domain complexity as well.
Okay. And then coordinate activities?
Pretty much, I think in everywhere.
Yeah, I agreed. Domain complexity would be, coordinate activities should be everywhere. Farm team?
Oh, that's pretty straightforward. The first one, time size, I think.
And what about geographical distribution or organizational distribution?
Yeah, geographical distribution, maybe. Organizational. Oh, yeah, in fact, yeah. So the team is basically, it can be co-located. Yeah, I think, it will make sense. Team size, geographical distribution, organizational distribution. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and plan the release. Farhan, what do you think?
It would be coming mostly in technical complexity.
Okay, plan the release.
Because it's between the legacy or integrated, it's a new solution. However you plan, that would come mostly over there.
True. And sometimes
compliance as well, right? Sometimes you might have a process that you have to follow. I'm just thinking, but could be wrong.
Yeah, plan the release is like it's more about release planning and scheduling. I mean, what time release should be done. It might even depend on the team size when the team is in a program. Or that's my feeling. Again, I don't remember anything by
domain complexity could be an issue. Domain, Well, I think technical is more. I think I agree with what Farhan is saying. I think it's probably more technical than anything else.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. And when your teams are distributed, then what you will do? How important is release planning and scheduling when your teams are distributed? One team is sitting at one country, another team is sitting in another country, release schedule. And when you have like contractors, how important is the scheduling of your releases based on their contracts?
But again, that way we can debate for everything. Well,
I agree.
Yeah, I was
I
about to say,
agree.
yeah.
everything will be in everything, but generally
Farhan,
planned release is more for technical complexity because you need to know the new system is coming in, whether it will work, it will not work, how will you do the processing of it,
True. Farhan, I agreed. We can try to fit everything into everything. On this point, I'm fully agreed. The next point is like when I'm talking about like plan the release and trying to fit it into when we have like virtual teams, there is a reason behind it because like it become pretty complicated. I will never fit it into like domain complexity or compliance because it is more about scheduling. Scheduling is a challenge when we have distributed teams. That's my only concern. But again, I don't remember by heart. I might be wrong on the next slide.
No, because planned release, I'm trying to clear my mind. Even if it's virtual team, they would have finished the product and the product would have been tested. Okay, before you plan the release. So you would have some testing, yes, always there is complexities everywhere, but
technical
those
complexity.
parts would have been finished, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyway.
A governed delivery team.
This is compliance.
Yeah.
Governed compliance.
And what about
Quickly?
Well, I think it's definitely geographical distribution as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I think
very
it's
important.
geographical distribution and organizational distribution, if I'm not.
Both. Yeah,
Both,
I
yeah.
agree. And maybe even team sizes as well. Accelerate value delivery.
So that's technical complexity and probably domain complexity more.
And address changing stakeholder needs.
Oh, that I think organizational and distribution. Organizational. In fact, address changing stakeholder needs. I would say domain complexity.
Yes,
yes,
that's my feeling too. That's my feeling.
I think it goes there.
Prove architecture.
It would be interesting to know what we are getting.
Yeah,
right or not.
True, agreed. And prove architecture early.
That part, architecturally, I think that's technical. That's technical. Easy.
I agreed. Leverage and enhance existing infrastructure.
I think that's domain and technical both. I would say both technical and domain. Probably
Improve quality.
More technical than domain, but
yeah, and improve quality.
Oh, that's compliance process.
And what about quality of the solution, technical solution?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What are the answers, my friend?
Yeah, let's have a look. Team size, farm team, coordinate activities. Make a lot of sense. Geographical distribution, scope should be well explored so that everybody should be on the same page. Architectural strategy and coordinate activities. That's from the thought leaders of Discipline Agile, not from me. Organizational distribution, here we can see when we have contractors on team, then plan the release is also important. Okay. Find the odd one out from compliance.
Accelerate value delivery, my friend. Oh, in fact, I think compliance accelerate the value delivery. How is that there?
Yeah, accelerate the value delivery mean when we are talking about value delivery acceleration, we also think about how we are delivering the value. For example, in compliance, one of the highest requirement is documentation. So a decision about, because now documentation has a value. decision about when should our documentation should be done within each iteration or at the end of, for example, multiple iteration, we run a separate iteration for the sake of documentation. Okay, so the decision we need to make around documentation that is of value, okay, will come from here. You can go and check this process goal, a very detailed process goal. And then there comes domain complexity. Let's find the odd one out.
Yeah, no, you've confused me. Domain.
Interesting.
No, I think there's no odd one out. In fact, well,
Yeah.
no, I think there's no odd one out.
That's
Yeah,
good.
they all look legit.
Yeah, and technical complexity. This
Sorry,
is,
Fez, is there any odd one that you're saying in domain complexity?
no, I'm talking about the one we chose, and but it's not here, but
Okay.
or mean in other words, like we didn't choose, but it's here.
Okay.
That's the one I'm calling it odd one.
Okay, got it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
no, I think I think we choose that. Yeah.
Yeah, we chose all of them, in
I think
especially in last two, and
Yeah.
only odd one was, I think, in complaints, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we took.
Or even this one, isn't it?
Identify its structure, yeah, because you were more onto technical for it.
Oh, and planned release, we were
And
talking
plan
about, yeah, in plan.
Organizational.
True. We were thinking more around technical complexity, but it is more around organizational distribution. But nevertheless, that's just how to basically identify the process goals on which we can work based on our technical scaling. Okay, so it is shown here in this particular slide. Now pop-up quiz time.
Oh, that's a difficult one. You keep
Adnan.
sending us.
Yes, I mean, which of the following scaling factors has the potential to significantly affect your choice with the coordinate activities process goals? Technical complexity, domain complexity, team size, all the above. I think D.
Yeah, I think all
All
the
agreed? All
Yeah.
agreed?
Yes. Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and Mustafa?
Yeah. Okay. Which of the following scaling factor has the potential to significantly affect your choices with the leverage and enhance existing architecture process goals? Geographic distribution, compliance, technical complexity, organizational distribution. Okay. I believe that is technical complexity, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I agreed. Everyone else agreed?
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
thought maybe
It's
there was a
only
geographical.
one.
I was just looking at. I think it was geographical distribution as well, but I could be wrong.
So leverage, enhance existing and infra. Yeah.
Can you take geographical distribution as well? No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move to our last question.
Because you have to choose only one for him. So
Yeah.
we can't choose more.
Oh, and in
okay.
fact, it was only in one too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, fine.
Okay. Which of the following process goals can be significantly affected by the compliance scaling factor? I think this is pretty straightforward. Improve quality. I think compliance is probably. I think so. C, improve quality. I think so.
Yeah.
Compliance scaling. Yeah.
Yeah. So improve quality. We can go and have a look in the compliance. Oh, explore scope. that was.
I got 2 wrong. That means I failed the exam. I need to attend my class last week.
See. Okay. Now let's move further. So it's explore scope. Seriously, we really don't need to remember them. Okay. In exam, these things won't come like this. It is just to see that did we do the activity properly or not, and I can understand we can do it even more properly.
I was also thinking, and this is a good point. So I think when I I probably should go and study again the process goals. The process goal will explain what explore scope means. So, and once you understand in detail, so probably it's much more easier.
Oh,
Okay. The name can be a little bit misleading. So,
Fran?
Okay. Which of the following process goals can be significantly affected by the team size scaling factor? Improve quality, form team, develop release plan, accelerate value delivery. Form team?
Yeah, that easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now
Thank you.
it's towards the end of tactical scaling. What are the 2 points that stood out for you, Fran?
Something about the compliance which we were not clear. I think those like explore scope in compliance.
Oh.
And the other thing, like, I think coordinate activities was another one because it affected everything. And, again, when we think of activities, we think very limited. Like we would have thought about team size, geographic distribution, organizational, but not of domain complexity, technical complexity, and compliance. So,
True.
again, it helps us to understand how close or far we are from the center point of being accurate. So, those are the points I think.
Agreed. And Mustafa, what one point that is still puzzling you and you wanna further study?
Yeah, the organizational distribution, has lots of aspects which are, are somewhat puzzling me. And I guess I myself need to, dig down deep more into, how organizational distribution is happening.
True.
So I need to study that.
Yeah, true. And one idea from this topic that you would like to implement, Mustafa?
See, from, we normally, as I told you that, and we are in a hybrid situation. So regarding the, team sizing, we need to work on that because there is no, concept of a team size because it's not a team, it's the whole, units are working in a full. So we
Yeah,
need to,
true.
have
Very,
a
very.
team. Yes. So
True.
this is one thing which we need to work from the scratch.
True, agreed. And that was end of tactical scaling. Now we are going for a quick break, and then after the break, we will be starting disciplined DevOps. Well, guys, now it's our lesson 3, and that is on DevOps. We will be learning what are DevOps and what is disciplined DevOps layer and how can we optimize while working on disciplined DevOps layer. And the agenda of this session includes these components. Mustafa, can you read the agenda for me?
Yeah, sure. The purpose and scope of disciplined DevOps layer of the DA toolkit. How to use the DA toolkit to optimize how a team works with disciplined DevOps layer. How to use disciplined Agile toolkit to identify and help resolve challenges teams face in the disciplined DevOps layer. The test first method.
So all these bits we will be covering today. We will be learning about DevOps layer, how to use DA toolkit to work on DevOps layer, how to resolve the challenges our team faces while working on disciplined DevOps layer. And we will also be looking on one of the practice that is very, very common in DevOps, that is test first method, or you can say test driven development. Firstly, DevOps. DevOps used to be a buzzword, but in previous 5 years, it has become a proven strategy to produce the value. And this trend is showing that how much people are basically learning about the DevOps. First question. What does DevOps mean to you, Fahim? If Fahim is not here, Farhan?
I mean, DevOps is basically, when you develop something and you transfer to operations or to production, where the support team comes to support the intermediate phase, between when the users start to use the new system,
Yep.
and, to have support being aware of everything that the new system will work and the details of it. I think that's more or less DevOps for me.
So DevOps is a combination of two words, as you can see from the name, development and operation. And important thing is how to basically break the silos between the development teams and the operations teams. And the operations teams could be like IT operations team, IT support team, release management team. And when we talk about discipline DevOps, it also include data management teams and security teams, both IT security and physical security. So that's the purpose, that how we can ensure that development and operations teams are talking with each other, and this transition is happening from development to the operations in a seamless manner. In fact, the DevOps has reached to next level, that where one of the strategy, or one of the thing DevOps people say, that you developed it, you run it, you support it. Mean the role of development teams has been expanded from not only from development, but also running the solution in the operations and monitoring the solutions. Maybe you heard about the terminology infrastructure as a structure. Sorry, infrastructure as a code. IAC, infrastructure as a code. It is talking about DevOps. It is talking about how can we can do CI/CD. You heard about CI/CD?
Continuous improvement.
Yeah.
Continuous improvement and continuous development, CI/CD.
CI is continuous integration. Integration,
Okay.
integration of your features, your solution with the current solutions in a continuous fashion, and it requires a proper technical infrastructure. It requires a infrastructure that can help you, for example, in automated regression testing. Okay, automated regression testing is basically where your solution is automatically going to be integrated with already existing solutions, already existing infrastructure, already existing systems, and it is ensuring that your solution is going to be integrated without errors. And then continuous deployment is basically where your solution goes into the operations. In fact, IAC, infrastructure as a code, is beyond CI/CD, and it also include monitoring of the solution. The solution you developed, it went into the operations, and uh, you are continuously monitoring the performance of a solution, so that you can see that how people are using it, what are the issues coming up, and how these issues and these change requests or request for the new features can help you to improve your next release. That is continuous monitoring. And everything CI/CD plus continuous monitoring are part of infrastructure as a code. Now let's have let's watch a quick video so that we can be introduced with DevOps. I'm switching on the video. Before that, let me share the sound. Yeah, I'm sharing the sound now. And let's run this bit.
DevOps is a hot topic, and that raises an interesting question. What is DevOps? The word itself is a blend of two other words, development and operations. The ideas and practices of DevOps came about as organizations began to use agile techniques to bridge the gap between development and operations. Doing so enabled the formerly siloed roles of development, IT operations, quality engineering, and security to coordinate and collaborate to produce better, more reliable products. Ideally, the result is a streamlined flow between development and operations that looks something like this. It all starts with the plan stage. Requirements and feedback are gathered from the stakeholders and customers and used to build a roadmap. Then we design a solution that follows that roadmap. Since we're repeating a very short development cycle, we turn our requirements into very specific test cases, built right into the code, then improve our code until the tests pass. Then, of course, we write the code. And since we've built our tests into the system, we can refine and improve the code until it passes. Once it does so, it's ready to deploy. That is, it can be released into production. The new release is now live and being used by customers. This is when the operations team is hard at work, making sure everything is operating smoothly. The new release must be supported as well, giving us additional opportunities to learn from our customers and, if necessary, course correct. The final phase is to monitor, collecting data and providing analytics on customer behavior, performance, errors, and more. And then, of course, we use everything we've learned to start the process all over again, continuously. DevOps offers several benefits, among them accelerated innovation, improved collaboration, increased reliability, security, and scalability. DevOps has been around for some time now. It's evolved from being a buzzword to a tried and tested practice.
I hope it provided you a good overview of DevOps. Any questions about DevOps?
Not at present.
Yeah, okay, so it's JRNA time now. And Farhan, can you read first JRNA question?
The word DevOps is a blend of two other words, development and operations. Yeah.
Simple. And next, Farhan?
DevOps maintains the silos that separate development, IT, operations, quality engineering, and security. Nay.
Yeah, because it brings together
Get that.
development, IT operations, quality engineering, and security. And again, the principles, the promises, and the guideline, they all support DevOps mindset. And when we are talking about disciplined DevOps, we are basically not only talking about the development, that is disciplined agile delivery and IT operation. It is beyond that. It is more disciplined, and it tells you that it also includes the support. That could be help desk support or IT support. It also includes the release management component of it. It includes the security concerns of the solution through, for example, penetration testing. We can talk about it. And then data management and how effective data management can help us to provide the right data to the right people on the right time, and how these concerns, how data management activities can help in better solution development, and how a good solution can help us to do better data management. DAD, Discipline Agile Delivery, we already talked about that quite a lot, all those 24 processes. And then there comes security. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you something. I am going to share a different screen so that we can discuss in more detail. Before start of the session, Fahim, are you here? Okay, Fahim is not here.
No,
Farhan.
I'm here. Sorry. Can't you see my screen?
No, I mean,
Sorry.
it was, I think, minimized.
Oh, sorry,
Uh,
man. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
here.
yes, Fahim. Before starting the session, I was talking mm, with Mustafa and Adnan that because like Discipline Agile Toolkit is very sophisticated toolkit, it is very detailed, and important thing is you really need not to remember all the bits in this toolkit. Important thing is you should know that how to access different components, different aspects of this toolkit that can help us to use when it is required. Okay, for that sake, what PMI did is, if you go to on this particular link, PMI slash discipline agile, okay, you will get access to the toolkit, and they make it very sophisticated, and they still keep on working on it and keep on improving it. It will bring you to this particular view. Okay, and this view is landscape view of discipline agile toolkit. I'm just trying to move it a bit. Let me refresh it because it's not allowing me to drag down. Okay, now if you look on uh, if you look on this landscape view and focus on discipline DevOps, for example, or in fact, not only discipline DevOps, if you go further on the top, it is showing that this icon is business agility icon. It shows the whole landscape, the whole view of it, and it is very interactive. It also shows you the mindset. Okay, and when I say the mindset, I'm talking about these 3 bits: principle, promises, and guidelines. And the good thing is, if you click any of them, for example, if you click on the principle, it will open another screen. Okay, and it will be telling you that what these principles are all about. Okay,
Good
not
stuff.
only not only this, but also in depth of each of the principle. I mean, delighted customers, what does it mean? Okay, be awesome, what does it mean? So on, so forth. Okay, now
Mhm.
similarly, if we go back and to our main screen, it also provides you the process goals. Okay, but these process goals are for DAT, Discipline Agile Delivery. Okay, and it will be showing you not only all the process goals, but also you can click on any of the process goal, it will show you the detail. And for process goal, if you remember, I already showed you, for example, if I'm clicking on the farm team thing, it will show you farm team, but the uh, better tool to going through that process goal is Discipline Agile Browser. If you remember Discipline Agile Browser,
Mm.
okay, let me click on it.
Yeah,
So
last time you
I'll
showed
have
it
a look
to
at it.
us.
yeah, you can have a look by yourself
Yeah.
later. Okay,
I
so
don't want to hold up every team. If everybody has seen it, that's fine. Please don't do it for me. I'm
okay,
okay.
okay, awesome. So what I am going to do is like I'm going back to main screen again. Okay, and this screen is not only it is showing the mindset, the dead process goals, but also discipline DevOps. Okay, when you will click on discipline DevOps, that's what we are going to explore now. Okay, it is showing you what does it mean discipline DevOps and how they are like even next level than standard DevOps. Because in standard DevOps, we only have development, that is discipline agile delivery, and IT operations. But here it is like a more holistic view. It also include the other process blades like release management, support, data management, security, or even more than that, including business component of it. Rest of the components are IT components, but this component, the business operation is business components. And they call it disciplined Biz Devops, mean disciplined business DevOps that also consider the concerns of business. Okay. And the good thing is, if you click on any of these icons, okay, it will take you to release management process blade that is supported by the process goals that could be one or more. And each process goal is, for example, if you are looking on the IT operation, firstly look on the fundamental one. Okay. It will be telling you about IT operation, its mindset. Okay. And when we are talking about IT operation mindset, it is talking about that which are the principal promises and guidelines support it. And then what are the key roles and responsibilities in IT operation process area? Okay, for example, operations engineer, the operation manager, toolsmiths, DevOps engineers, database administrators, release manager, etc. Similarly, it also talk about IT operations practices. And when you open IT operation practices, it will help you to open the process goal of IT operation. And Adnan, can you read the decision points for IT operations process goal?
Yes, guys, run solutions, manage infrastructure, manage the, could you remove the hand? Yes. Manage configurations, evolve infrastructure, mitigate disasters, govern IT operations.
Now, here, these decision points are basically the work IT operation does. They run the solution, they manage the infrastructure, manage configuration, they evolve infrastructure, mitigate the disaster, and govern IT operations. In fact, the IT operations guys run the whole IT ecosystem for a seamless experience to our users of the IT. I mean, it should be like this, that people shouldn't feel IT, and the users of our system shouldn't feel the IT in it. They should have a very seamless experience. And then if you click on this picture, it can show you the picture in full size. Okay. And not only the picture in full size, explanation is given here. What does the meaning of running solution, managing infrastructure, manage configuration, so on, so forth. Okay. And then it also provides you help that what are the good IT operations teaming strategies. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay. On a strategic level, operations level, and so on and so forth. And then IT operation strategies for DevOps. Solution monitoring, standard platform, deployment testing, automated deployment, operation intelligence, disaster planning, etc. As a senior Scrum Master, we really need not to remember or understand each bit of it. Important thing for us to understand is where to get the right help. Okay, now let's go back to our toolkit, our main screen. Similarly, we can go to release management, we can go to support, data management. Each of the process blade has the process goals associated with them, and those process goals help us to choose the right strategies for right decision making. Similarly, it also includes the concerns of business operations. Okay. And obviously, as I told you that still many things are under development, not a lot of detail on business operations, but again, the purpose is that IT operations and in fact the whole DevOps should be helping the business in sales, marketing, and consequently delighted customers. So that's what I really want to show you before going in depth of our DevOps. Any
No,
questions
thank you very
here?
much. No, this is really good. No, thank you very much. I just realized that I've saved the link as well now, the toolkit link. So
Yeah, so I can share the link if needed. And now let's go back and optimizing PowerPoint slides. Yeah, here we are. Okay. Okay. Now you got some idea. Obviously, we didn't go in depth of it. My question would be, in your organization, are you doing DevOps or not?
Are you asking me or everyone?
Everyone, in fact, everyone.
We started doing it. In fact, we do have a DevOps operation, to be very honest, but we've just started doing it. Like it's well, it is. You can call it its infancy. It's
Yeah,
not very mature.
infancy stage. And what about you, Farhan?
In my previous company, we were more organized, so we had a complete DevOps process in place. In my current company, we are still forming it, and we have it 50% on it, and we still have to redevelop the whole thing.
Okay, cool.
So,
And which process blade do you think that would be very important when you will be implementing DevOps?
I see basically because of the size of the current company and things, we have DAD, support and IT operations as the
True.
major thing. Of
True.
course, security is always the overall blanket nowadays for everything.
Agreed. Agreed.
So
And
it's security is there. I mean, because our delivery or the development team is in a very different method set up over here. The data management is a part of the people who are developing.
yeah. And
So,
sometimes
and
we might have like separate database administrators
yes,
with whom we have to work.
so basically, these are the three things that we look at because security is a blanket and data management is almost merged.
Yeah, true.
The release management is again, it is good for bigger organizations where the planning is more,
Yeah.
in depth. So
Yeah.
in my previous company, we used to have those things and we had to notify people and, we used to do those kind of processes where
True.
we could only release on Tuesday of every second week.
Yeah.
If we
True.
you can't release anything. So those were there. But again,
True.
I think the bigger the organization, the better you can plan or the more planning is required.
More planning is required. And in case when teams are small or organizations are small, basically it's that team and IT operations team or support team, they are basically doing the release management by themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't it? But maybe you still have a release manager who might be governing it, but it's not compulsory. Again, depends on the context of the team. But if you have like program level teams where are many sub teams, then you might have someone who is taking care of release
The
management
release
properly.
management. Yes.
True. And security, as you said, that it's a blanket for everything. And maybe for your solution, you might have to engage security guys who can help you to conduct some like penetration testing of your software. Is it like security foolproof or not? Similarly, recently a new concept of rugged software has come. Uh, Anybody know about this type of software? Rugged software development. And this concept talks about when you are developing your solution, your software, it should have all the security features and it should be ensuring the security by itself.
Okay.
Working with the discipline Agile DevOps layer. Continuous delivery model. Continuous delivery, if you remember that we have two life cycles on continuous delivery. Okay. And when we will be talking about DevOps, basically, we understand that teams have become like more stable teams who are delivering the features on a continuous basis, who are doing the configurations, new configurations, who are removing the bugs, adding the new functionality on continuous basis. And in fact, in DevOps, we normally have more stable teams. And this life cycle is shown in front of you. Let's have a look on this life cycle. Anybody remember the Agile life cycle? not continuous delivery agile, but standard agile for the projects.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was in that life cycle?
Backlog, product backlog,
It
sprint
had
backlog.
yeah, transition and initiation or something.
Yeah, agreed.
You're
Inception.
talking about the okay.
Yeah, inception
Inception and
Inception.
construction
and transition. And when your team has become a product team, a long-standing stable team, in fact, your initiation phase, it's wiped out.
Inception.
Yeah, and you might need to do this inception type activities maybe within one day, and effectively this phase is removed. Similarly, your transition has become continuous integration, continuous deployment. Okay, in a seamless manner. You might need not to do all the transition related process goals. That's called continuous delivery agile. Everything else is same. You are still working in an enterprise aware manner where you are getting your funding, your vision from the portfolio. Okay, and you are getting your let me mute let me yeah, it's already mute. Thanks, Adran. And you are getting your roadmaps and guidance from the product management team and your technical guidance from the enterprise architecture team. But the good thing is now your continuous delivery team and inception and transition phases are gone. You are just running the iterations and producing the features, adding new configurations and removing the bugs and reducing the technical debt. And then similarly, if you were previously using lean or Kanban based life cycle, okay, your natural transition would be towards continuous delivery lean life cycle. And again, there will be no inception stage, there will be no transition stage. In fact, there will not be any iterations. What you are doing, you are just producing the deliverables, you are improving your code. And while you are doing this work, again, you are working it in an enterprise aware manner. Okay. I hope you understand the difference between lean and agile. Would anybody like to comment? What are the differences?
So I can.
Yeah.
So agile is iteration and lean is elimination of the waste. It's in a simple term. Agile is iterative approach to delivery, where lean is, elimination of waste, work in progress management.
Yeah, it is more like flow based instead of iteration. Yeah, true. Instead of time boxed iteration, you are flow based, where in fact you keep on pulling the new work once you complete your previous work. Okay, instead of like yeah, instead of waiting for the iteration to be completed and go and do the and go and get the new work, go and do the new planning. Planning here is here in lean is more JIT basis, that is just in time on demand basis. Okay, and while you are working, it's not compulsory that you are doing the daily scrum or you are doing the retrospective or demo after 2 weeks. In fact, you are doing everything on demand basis. And the good thing is like this is one of the best life cycles for product teams, continuous delivery lean. Natural progression is initially, if you are following agile life cycle for projects, then you become stable team, but still on agile, you should try to go to continuous delivery lean life cycle. Or if you are on Kanban based project life cycle that is lean, then uh, you should aspire to go for continuous delivery lean life cycle. But important thing is still lean governance is still here. Risk-based, lightweight milestones. For example, uh, let me go to the previous slide. For example, Continuous stream of development released at the end of each iteration. Mean you can say instead of continuous stream of development, it is like regular stream of development. In Agile, still it is not continuous, it is regular. Means you are producing the deliverable and putting it into the operations after 1 week or 2 weeks. Okay, so you might call it, instead of continuous stream, you can call it regular stream of or regular development release at the end of each iteration. However, why our continuous delivery lean life cycle is good? The thing is here our development is, sorry, here our development is more in a continuous stream manner, and each time when we get a sufficient functionality, we just release it into the production. Any questions?
Yes, Doctor. What is the difference between the continuous lean and the lean itself?
Continuous delivery agile and continuous delivery lean.
No, the lean and the continuous delivery lean. I think so. There is we have
Okay. Okay. So lean life cycle is for projects. And in lean life cycle, you normally have inception phase, okay, where you form your team, you align your direction with the enterprise direction, you think about the funding, you think about high level scope, all those initiation or starting activities. But once you completed one project, now you shifted to the next project, your team is still intact, the same team, your funding options are already resolved, you already know what type of testing you will do, you already know about your architecture. Now only thing you need to do is, you need not to do any initiation activity. As a long-standing stable team, you just need to keep on adding the features into the product or into the service. You keep on adding new configurations, you keep on removing the bugs and reducing the technical debt. So it is more like continuous delivery. It is not something, okay, your project is finished, your team is gone, and next time when project will come, your team will be formed again. You are now in a long-standing stable team. You know that what you are doing. So only thing you are doing is development work, the engineering work. Okay. That's the difference between lean and continuous delivery lean. Did I make some sense? Okay, let's move further. Finding organizational allies. One of the work of discipline agile senior Scrum Master is not only working within the team, but also with other teams, but also with other departments like marketing, HR, etc., so that they can talk with them, they can convince them that, okay, this is the way our development teams are working, this is the way our agile teams are working, for example, with the finance department. This is the way of funding we would prefer, and these are the advantages of, for example, IT fund pool. So you need to find organizational allies who are happy to help you, who are happy to work on the same line as you are working. Now, let's talk about different type of DevOps, and the first one is Biz Devops. And Fahim, we already talked about Biz Devops, isn't it? No, I think you are on mute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So what's the question? Sorry, apologies, I was distracted. What was the question, Faiz?
What are your thoughts about Biz DevOps?
I must say, I'm not really, when it comes to DevOps, not really fully understand, but I think in terms of DevOps, development and operation, how development, when we, so let me just put it in a way. So as I understand DevOps is, it helps business do a continuous or deliver continuous value stream through automation, so that you have development and then you have continuous operation to make sure the business continues without any disruption. I just tried. I don't know if it makes sense. Did I try to make it simple?
Yeah, I think yeah, I agreed with most of your points. So DevOps is mostly and to seamlessly uh, transit your development work into the operations, and operation and dev teams should be working together in a seamless manner, not into the silos. So Biz Devops is next level of DevOps that not only talk about that, okay, whatever the development team produced, it went into the operation, then IT operations teams are basically managing it, supporting the solution and monitoring the overall IT ecosystem, but also it is giving operational intelligence, mean that is feedback and the change requests back to our development teams who can improve their product based on that operational intelligence and change request. This is standard DevOps. But when we talk about Biz Devops, it talks about that not only the concerns or feedback from IT operations are fed back to development team, also the concerns or uh, feedbacks or the new requests for the additional features, it also go back to our dev team. Okay, not only from IT operations to development team, but also business operations to our dev team. And business operations could be legal, HR, marketing, finance, any department. So that's business DevOps. And then we take security into our DevOps. It become DevSecOps, that is development, security, and operations. And it not only include development and operation, but also the security. Okay, and because like the solution, its security. Its security is like with security department, and nowadays many new and advanced practices are coming, as I already told you, and those practices are like developing a rugged software who at this point, okay, that should taking care of security concerns into the solution itself in an automated fashion. Similarly, working between the development team and the security teams to conduct some type of like testing for the solution, so that solution should be uh, secure, should be foolproof. Okay, so it means that solution from solution team development intelligence goes to security, and from security team security guidance and tools go into the uh, dev teams.
Doctor, can we consider DevSecOps as a small component of Biz DevOps? Because in Biz DevOps, I believe security should be involved while having the
okay. Basically, this they call it discipline DevOps. In discipline DevOps, they have they further decompose them for the sake of understanding. They call it Biz DevOps, where we take the business concerns, okay, into DevOps, and they call DevSecOps. That is like taking the security concern into the DevOps, and then also data DevOps that takes the data related things into discipline DevOps. So discipline DevOps is, you can say, an umbrella term that include Biz DevOps, DevSecOps, and data DevOps.
Okay.
So, sorry, first say that again. What is an umbrella term? Can you say that again?
Yeah, disciplined DevOps, it is next level of DevOps that include not only business concerns, but also security concerns and data management and support challenges into the DevOps.
Okay.
So disciplined DevOps is the umbrella term. And here you can clearly see that this particular figure is showing how development teams work closely with IT operations and data management group. And yeah, in fact, it's very important that they should be working in a seamless manner. Just think about if there is some backend programming is involved in the development work, and they are connecting with the databases, etc. But their solution, for example, require, for example, a new column that should be added into the database. Okay, and if database administrators, they are not doing that work on time, then it means that we won't be able to do continuous delivery. We are highly dependent on the data team. Okay, so they should be like working in a seamless manner, and they should be well synchronized, collaborating while doing the development work.
Yeah. So can I ask a question? Sorry. So why in these 3-4 slides, they've basically shown them the data manager as a separate kind of silo thing, whereas business operations and security was within the same one? Is there a reason for it? Sorry.
No, no, not a silo thing. See, what we are talking about, we are talking about different components of discipline DevOps. Okay.
Yep.
Discipline DevOps is the umbrella term. We had a look on business DevOps. We had a look on security DevSecOps, and then we talked about data DevOps. Now, in the upcoming slide, or after few slides, we will be also talking about everything in one.
Got it.
So this is basically that integrated. You can name it. Okay, we are basically development team, release management team, IT operations, business support, data management, and security. They are working in a coordinated fashion, and the purpose is to break the silos.
Got it.
And can speak the same language. So here they are calling it discipline DevOps. Combine these critical views together in one. Okay, J&A time, and Mustafa.
Data DevOps brings security issues into DevOps. Nay, I believe. Yes.
But not issues. Basically brings security. Okay, yeah.
No. I mean, it is DevSecOps, not data DevOps.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
And then next, Mustafa.
Yes, Biz Devops addresses how business processes and considerations moves between 3 different discipline DevOps blades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they basically bring the concerns or challenges or business processes and considerations into the DevOps.
Yeah.
Okay, knocking down your team's roadblocks, and we can obviously do it with the help of DA Toolkit, and each of the process blade is supported with the help of process goals, as we already talked about it. Okay, so we will be talking about it, each of them. Okay, but before that, let's have a look on one of the related process goal, that is in fact the dead process goal that comes in third phase, transition phase, deploy the solution. Okay, because like this is the time where we are going from development to operations, and let's have a look on it. So guys, I need one of you to help me to go through the process goal, and I would say that Mustafa, can you please help me? So deploy the solution. When we are thinking deploying the solution, we need to think about these bits, isn't it? Can you read for me what are these bits?
Yes, automate deployment, release strategy, release into production, validate release.
And Adnan, when we talk about automate deployment, because like it's very important that in DevOps, we should bring as much automation as possible. It requires investment. It requires investment on the infrastructure, on the hardware that can help us to do the automated deployment, including regression testing, CI, CD, and maybe cloud-based solution that help us in DevOps, all those things. So Adnan, in automated deployment, do we have an ordered list
Yes.
or unordered list?
Yeah, continuous deployment, deployment script, and deployment instructions.
So what's the difference between three? What do you think, Farhan?
I mean, what do you mean by what's the difference between the three? You want me to go with exact difference between deployment
No,
instructions, deployment script,
yeah,
or
your feeling.
continuous?
Yeah, I mean, what do
Or
you
you
think?
want me to tell you that this is an orderly decision point so that we would like to do with continuous development, but we should start with deployment script.
Okay, but my question is like these are three strategies. Okay,
Right.
when we automate our deployment, it could be deployment instructions the development team can follow, or it could be the script that can run automatically, or maybe with the help of a push button, or maybe continuous deployment. Everything is automated. So yeah,
So
what do you? Yeah,
oh, sorry. I think so because this is an ordered list, so the best approach would be a continuous deployment, which makes
for
sense.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's why it is ordered list. But probably best way to start would be deployment script, because I think that's how it is basically saying continuous deployment is basically an ideal situation, but we may not have an ideal situation all the time. So start with deployment script in this case. I think that's
true.
what it's saying.
Agreed. So the reason is CD requires infrastructure. It requires investment. Okay. Uh, mm, but the thing is like many organizations might still not want to go for continuous deployment because of that cost, though in the end, like it is recovered very quickly. Another way, deployment scripts that could run automatically, but written by the team, and then they may have to like click on few buttons and then it is automatically deployed. But if we have to follow step-by-step instruction, it will be wasting a lot of time. And then release strategy, because it's not an order list, let's have a look only on two that are like recommended. Adnan.
The codes switch over and functionality on release.
Yeah, functionality on release and cold switchover. Cold switchover is like one version to the next version by clicking a button, and functionality on release is like you can switch on or off a particular functionality into the operation of your solution. And then there comes the release into the production, Mustafa. Maybe there are too many different options available. Okay, we might have a look only on one.
Okay. Close out existing transactions, back up existing data, restore previous data, restore previous version, migrate source data, deploy solution components, make solution available, log the deployment, and enable support system, communicate deployment.
So when we are deploying our solution into the production, we might be doing one of these work, isn't it? We might be migrating the source data. We might one or more of these works. We might be deploying the new features, or we are making like we are doing like function solution available by just clicking on a button. We are like previous solution is replaced with current solution, so on and so forth. And then there comes validate release. Fahim.
Yep. So This is an ordered list, but it is also giving us 3 options that we can either take production deployment testing or measure usage or stakeholder satisfaction survey. But I'm guessing because it's an ordered list, and it is also recommending the production deployment testing is the best way to approach it. It's an ideal approach as well, and we should, if I were to do it, I would start considering from there, and then consider if measure usage or stakeholder satisfaction is better.
True. Yeah, agreed. So that's deploy the solution, and that was part of discipline agile delivery, as I already told you. And then there comes security. Look on the decision points. I mean,
That's why I never studied security. Too many decisions there.
oh my God, too many things into it. And Fran, let's just only read the decision points.
Okay. Ensure security readiness, enable security awareness, monitor security, respond to threats, secure physical assets, secure IT perimeter, secure the network, secure the IT endpoints, secure the applications, secure data, govern security.
Yeah, so I mean, it covers all different aspects and then tell you the agile strategies that should helping you in securing physical and information security, including the networks, application, data, so on and so forth. It also talk about what are the strategies for how to govern security related issues, etc. And then there comes data management, and I would request Mustafa.
Yes, improve data quality, evolve data assets, ensure data security, specify data structures, refactor legacy data sources, govern data.
And then if we talk about, for example, the first one, okay, it is an order list, and it says that, okay, we can improve the data quality because like in data management group, I think agile practices are comparatively not common. That's number one. Number two is like they feel that they cannot implement agile in the database. I mean, when we are doing data related, data management related practices, but it's not true. They can also adopt agile practices, and few of the practices for improved data quality which are recommended are database regression testing, ETL, and the top one is database refactoring, mean improve the database itself. Okay, so the whole help is available here, and when we will be working with data management group, we might be talking about these bits. And then there comes release management. Let's go through the key points, and Adnan, can you read the key decision points?
Plan IT release schedule, schedule solution release, manage infrastructure configuration, determine production readiness, support delivery teams, and govern releases.
Okay, and let's have a look only on this one bit. And Farhan, I would require your help. Okay, plan IT release schedule, because we are talking quite a lot about release schedule. So let's have a look. What are the different options available for us, and what are the good options to start with?
Actually, this is an unordered list, so that there is no specific thing, but the best ones, or there are 7, but PMI says the 3 are the best as schedule as needed release. So you schedule your releases as needed, identify the blackout period, and identify the release windows. The other ones which people might be doing, like schedule continuous release or schedule regular release, release train, manage release dependencies, and communicate release schedules, are not really the best options.
Yeah, but the thing is, we can start with these
Anyone.
three. Yeah,
But
these
these 3 are the ones that are preferred
True.
to start with.
So schedule as needed release. This is more like a Kanban way of working. Okay. And then schedule continuous release. This is continuous delivery, lean or agile. Okay. And this is, you can say that it is something very, very, very good. If you talk about Amazon, Google, etc., you may don't feel that if new and new features are being added and into their current product or not. In fact, Amazon is releasing it like on seconds basis. Okay. uh, and it is continuous release, and it is very, very good. On the other side, if you talk about schedule regular releases, or in other words, release train, safe is the method. I believe most of you know about it, and they basically promote this one, release trains. Okay. uh, yeah. Fahim, would you like to comment? Did you go through it when doing your safe?
Yeah, I did. So they are very big on release train. But again, one of the key things is safe also requires a lot of maturity.
Sure.
You don't just, you know, um, let me put it this way. So even in the safe course, they are very big on it that unless don't consider safe unless you really think your organization is ready for it. Because going through the release train requires a lot of maturity, a lot of discipline. They're very big on DevOps as well. And release train is very they have the way they have structured it is that they have come up with a release train engineer or RTE role to
Yeah.
manage the entire end-to-end. So
True.
that's the way of marketing it.
Yeah, and they call it chief scrum masters, those release train engineers who are managing the whole releases for multiple teams.
Release Scrum.
Yeah, and release stream is even next level. It requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of infrastructure because release trains are still something scheduled, but continuous releases are like ongoing basis, and that's why the good point to start is identify release windows. Okay, for example, as you say, each Tuesday, or release windows are communicated by your release manager, and also identify blackout periods. Blackout periods are those periods where you really cannot put anything new into the production because the application is very, very busy. That's why
Change
people
freeze.
yeah. So and that's why like previously, like 5-10 years back, you remember that this thing happened at 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, things like that, just to identify the blackout periods where you shouldn't be releasing. So this is release management, and then there comes support end. Let's quickly go through the support end, and Mustafa, just read the decision points.
Support strategy: provide self-service options, provide assisted support panels, escalate incident, address incident, architect a support environment, govern support.
Yeah, and let's have a look on the first one, that is support strategy. DevOps promote one thing, that is, in fact, two things I am commenting on. You develop it, you run it, you support it. I mean, who developed the solution should be running it and supporting it because these are the best guys. Okay, but normally it doesn't happen. There is a separate support team, okay, who is providing the support. But few of the organizations, and they might uh, they might go like on a self-service model. Okay, go and use the system by yourself, and if there is any issue, no support staff is available. But most of the time, support staff is available. We call them desktop support, and in fact, they are our last line of defense. Okay, uh, and one of the top strategies, you build it, you support it, but to reach to this point, your solution should be like this. Yeah, it should be like in such a way, not your solution, in fact, your development team should have the time to do it. Okay. And also a new concept that recently has come, that is no service, no support is required. I mean, this is an ideal scenario, and this ideal scenario talks about our solution is such a sophisticated and ideal solution that no support is required to our users. They can, I mean, solution itself will be providing the support. Okay, but that stage is like an ideal scenario. IT operations and Farhan, can we go through the decision points?
Run solutions, manage infrastructure, manage configurations, evolve infrastructure, mitigate disasters, govern IT operations.
Yeah, and we can discuss maybe just one of them, and it would be good if you can discuss by yourself. While running the solution, what we do?
We back up the solution of the application, restore, configure, tune, and allocate IT resources.
True. So these are the things we do while running the solution. In fact, we have to do any of them, isn't it?
I'm thinking we have to do all of them.
Yeah, true. And so
Faiz, just for the exam, we don't really have to learn these things by heart, right?
no, not by heart. We must have like an understanding of it, and that's why we are just going through it, so that like these things should be kept in our mind. But important thing is the mindset, the discipline DevOps mindset. Okay, and yeah, this is another goal. This is again the goal of that. Okay, there were two goals in the transition. One is ensure production readiness, and second is deploy the solution. We already covered deploy the solution, isn't it? Here they are talking about, okay, if you have to apply one of the process goal on the that automated lawn mower project, how you will apply it. Okay, so here they are saying that, okay, we chose ensure production readiness, and in ensure production readiness include two components, technical readiness and stakeholder readiness. And when we talk about stakeholder readiness, it is more about like if you cannot train and educate stakeholder or prepare support environment, at least all the stakeholders should be communicated with the deployment. Okay, this should be your first thing, that okay, deployment is started. But it's good if the stakeholders are agreed and you got the time to train and educate them and create an environment of support. Similarly for technical readiness, now will anyone help me to read different agile strategies? Fahim?
Communicate, deployment, prepare, support environment. Oh, sorry, you're looking at the first one. Sorry, ensure technical readiness. Alpha testing, data migration preparation, deployment testing, end of life cycle testing and fixing, finalize deployment, finalize documentation, pilot beta testing.
So different type of testing that are used at the time of transition. It could be alpha testing, could be beta testing. What's the difference between two?
I don't know, to be honest. I can tell you the difference between pilot and beta, but but I don't know about alpha, frankly speaking.
Yeah. So pilot or beta testing. What is that?
So pilot is like, first you want to put a trial there, you want to see how it will function. You're trying to basically look into, what kind of bugs or issues that you will face. And it's also called beta testing, right? So you're basically trying to figure out as many problems and bugs as you can before you put it for, for full rollout. You may also be in pilot beta. You may also have a smaller sample of the stakeholders or users to test it with. So, but not sure what alpha is, to be very honest. I'm sorry.
Anyone else? Farhan.
Yes. I'm not very clear about alpha testing, but we've done almost every time pilot testing where we do with a smaller community,
Oh
a
yeah.
small set of stakeholders to test or to review every functionality before we do it.
True.
But I don't know, but I think alpha is similar, right? Where you
Yeah,
test
it's
for
almost
bugs.
similar. It's almost similar, but if you are a senior Scrum Master, the best way you can do is just quickly go to this screen. Okay, quickly go to the quickly go to the
Process
toolkit.
goals.
Yeah, toolkit and process goals, and if your computer is good, click on ensure production readiness, and then you will be able to see everything you need. And here in this particular screen, oh, it's taking quite a lot of time.
You probably have a lot of things open, probably that's why. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why. Okay, now here still a lot of details are not given, but
even alpha testing is not working over here because even they don't know what it is.
now let me share you DA version 5.2. This is very good place where you get all the details. Sorry, what they call it, DA PMI version 5.2. Where is it? Why it's not coming? DA web browser. I think it's the right name. And PMI.
I think it's a DA browser. It was DA browser, not DA web browser. DA browser.
Oh yeah, DA browser. Yeah. Thanks for thanks for it. And here we can go and quickly see what's the difference between alpha and beta testing. And that's the thing. We should be able to use this this toolkit effectively. And it is just here, ensure production readiness. And if you click here, it shows put out a limited or earlier version to a subset of user. Mean version is also limited and users are also could be just a subset. Okay,
But
it has
that's also alpha beta testing. So what is pilot there? What's the difference between pilot? How they define?
no. Okay, we may decide to deploy our solution to a subset of our end user to test our solution via live usage of it. Just testing may take hours, days, or even weeks. So here, what we are doing here, we are putting our solution, our whole solution, not subset of solution. Okay, but users could be subset. But in alpha,
The
they are
solution is
saying,
also.
yeah, true. mean you develop something and find people to show them. Okay, I developed this prototype. Would you like to look? This is alpha testing. All the details are given here. Advantages, disadvantages, so on and so forth.
Can we access this during the exam?
Yeah, you can open it. That's because like it is open book. It's not proctored.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
So again, first, what is the difference between alpha and, because alpha is the same thing, put out early version to a subset of users. That's what we do for pilot or beta. We call it pilot. And we do the same thing. We create a software, we ask some users to test, get a feedback, and
Here
rectify those issues. Yeah.
they are saying put out a limited version to a subset of user. Okay, here they are saying that they are putting the solution live. They are putting the solution live to subset of users. Okay, mean here they are, you are not putting live the whole solution to the public, but you are putting limited solution to the some users. Here you are putting the live solution to subset or even the whole public. So that was like that subtle difference between two.
Okay.
Okay, now optimizing delivery using test-driven development. What is test-driven development? It is basically writing the test first and then basically write a code that can satisfy the test, and that's test-driven development. And in fact, it is more than that. It also includes the refactoring of the code. It's not only writing the test and writing the code to fulfill that test, but also refactoring component is there as well. And we can only do it when we are doing in short iterations. And that is basically our agile, because like this thing help us like to write the tests, or you can say the acceptance criteria, uh, and the acceptance criteria that could be converted into tests or executable specs. Okay, that could be added into the solution itself. Then code is written and refined. Refine mean we will keep on improving our code until it fulfills the test. That simple test development, TDD, uh, and also in DevOps, TDD is very famous practice. There are few objections that when, because like we are embedding the test into our solution, and then developers may question that we don't write the tests, we write the codes. But in fact, in test-driven development, they have to write the test, and they have to write the code that can fulfill that test. Okay. Uh, there are two ways of dealing with the defects. It is about to defects, detect and prevent. In fact, we cannot prevent the defects into our solution. However, we can detect them early, and then we can resolve those defects. We can improve those defects. Here in this slide, they are showing different stages of programming. Programming is not my forte, and whose forte is programming, by the way? Who does programming by himself or herself?
I don't think anybody in our group does.
Okay.
I
So
don't work.
yeah, nevertheless, so these are different stages of programming: intelligence, compilation, linking, loading, dynamic loading, end user or runtime, etc. So what it is saying that it is saying that we cannot prevent the defects to come in any of these stages, but one thing we can do, we can detect those defects and can resolve those defects. But there is a new concept, and the new concept is the defects, the issues, the errors. These are not actually defects, they are missing tests. Okay, mean we didn't write a test for it. That's why this defect has come. So what we do, we write the missing test, we run it, we see that because like this was a missing test, it will fail. We will basically write the code that will fulfill that test, and we will run it again and it will pass. Okay, so this thing you should remember in mind, that new programming practices says that defect is not a defect, but it is a missing test that should be written, and then code should be written, and that should be that should fulfill that test. Okay. And when we talk about test-driven development is not only the test that we write, it is more than that. In fact, it is our requirement. Okay, that is that has two parts, like the story and acceptance criteria. Okay, this acceptance criteria could be written in the form of a test. Okay, or you can say executable spec, uh, and this executable spec could be added into the solution itself, okay, and then we write a code that can fulfill this executable spec. So test is actually a byproduct of test-driven development or test-first development. Tests could be manual, they could be executable specs. Executable specs, I believe most of you heard about Json.
Sorry, what is it?
Json.
The language to write code.
Yeah.
No idea.
Language.
No idea. Never
Yeah.
done the coding or anything. But anyway, that's fine.
Yeah, I think JavaScript.
Yeah, Java, I know. Yeah, Java, I know.
So this JSON is like JavaScript on something. I
Okay.
forgot, but I know that what is this language? It is getting very common in, especially in cloud. Yeah, most of the code is written in JavaScript. This is human readable. Human readable means that this is like more like our English language. Okay, where we write our requirements, our specs. Okay, in JSON. Okay. And then because like it is a language, they become like executable specs. Okay, so new era is like JSON, where everybody can write their requirements in the form of executable specs. Testing strategies, because we were talking about testing, so this process goal is given here. You can go by yourself and read about it. This is what DA Wisdom slide says. It says that you can read more about it by going on Choose Your Wow book or DA browser. Capturing quality requirements. Okay. When we talk about quality requirements, this thing is given in multiple process goals. It is given, for example, in explore scope. Here the focus is when we are talking about the quality requirements. Okay, here it is. Okay, what it says that we can write the quality requirements with the help of different methods. One of the very famous method is acceptance criteria. But the issue with the acceptance criteria is, for example, we have features, feature 1, feature 2, so on and so forth. Issue is the quality requirements sometimes are like cross-functional quality requirements. Mean for feature 1, we will have the same requirement. For feature 2, we will have the same requirement. So when we have cross features, cross-functional quality requirements, the acceptance criteria itself only is not enough. Okay. Because like these are cross-functional requirements. Will you be checking for this, or you will be checking for this? When you are writing this quality requirement using acceptance criteria, it might only be written for function 1 or function 2, but not for the both if you are using only acceptance criteria. However, if you mix it with explicit list, what is explicit list? This list is basically help us to write multiple tests, for example, or quality requirements. For example, feature 1, quality requirement 1, feature 2, quality requirement 1, same quality requirement, because it is cross functional, but it helps us to distribute the explicit list. So then we can write one test, second test that is covering both of them. Okay. And then there is another technique called technical stories. Again, the issue with the technical stories is like for single story who is not dependent or cross-functional with other stories, technical stories work okay, but in case of cross-functional, they don't work. For them, explicit list and acceptance criteria should be used in combination. This is the story given here. So I already told you the story. As I told you that quality requirements are not only covered in explore scope, but also in accelerated value delivery. It is very detailed process goal and covers many different bits. Okay, and one of them is obviously verify quality of work. Okay, and you can verify it by developing a definition of done. Definition of done and acceptance criteria are like similar. Okay, you write definition of done, and as per definition of done, you develop your acceptance criteria. These are three recommended ways: static analysis, DoD, and informal reviews. In Agile, I believe that DoD is like most common, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Only challenge with definition of done is like different people might have different definition of done. Product owner might have different, developer might have different. So we should come to like a point where we should be able to write definition of done together.
But normally in Scrum, we write it together with the product owner.
Yeah, product owner
in
is
the sprint planning, you do the definition of done.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not done
Please.
like
Yeah, please.
explicitly by any one person. It's done by everybody sitting together.
True. That's what we are saying. That's a challenge. Developer might have different definition of done, and product owner may have different definition of done. So they should write it together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that is, one of the things that I learned with the Safe Agile is, and I think that, so definition done should not be for any particular project. Definition done should be at an organizational level, what the expectation is.
Okay, let me talk about it. In fact, DoD can be written on any level, not only on the organization level. Okay, on organization level, you can write definition of done for your goals or objectives. Okay, on a product level, you can write it for your epics and features. Okay, similarly on the team level, you can write it for the user stories level. For example, portfolio level, you can write it for your initiative levels, okay, or capability levels, so on and so forth. So the thing is like, it totally depends on which level you are writing definition of done. Same like as you can decompose your work from organizational level to the team level, you can decompose your definition of done. You can develop your definition of done on different levels. Now that is end of it. And what we have learned, what 2 points stood out for you, Fahim?
I think the one thing that I learned is how disciplined DevOps is different from the normal DevOps, the standard DevOps. I think that's the number one thing that really stood out for me, and how there are different, how it incorporates different layers of security, data management, and business operations within discipline as well. So I think that's number one that really stood out for me.
Yeah, awesome. And any point that is puzzling you?
Quite a few. I still need to get my head around it. So I wouldn't say the thing is puzzling, but I think I just need to do a bit of a reading. I just need to read it. But listen, I think you have a very good way of teaching, by the way. Well done, Faz. You make things
thanks.
a lot easy. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, I think it's just getting the head around how DevOps is, discipline is different. Otherwise, I think I like it. I think that the more I listen to you, the more I'm reading. I really like this approach. I think it's good. And one of the things that sorry, you were saying something?
No, please.
One idea that if implemented will help your team. I'm going to use that spider diagram. I know that's probably not related to this topic, but I'm going to try spider diagram next week with my team to see how it works. I really like it. I really liked it.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. And that was end of DevOps. And when we will be back, we will be covering our value stream. We will not be covering a lot because we are short of time, but let's have a quick break, 5 to 10 minutes, and come back and touch our value streams.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, man.
Cheers.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Recording again. Now, I'm just shifting towards the slide that is start of value stream. In this session, we are going to talk about value streams. We'll define them. What is the disciplined value stream there? How can we use value stream to optimize the value and delight our customers? DA toolkit related with value stream process plates. We will have a look on MBIs and MVPs. One of the process blade of the value stream is portfolio management. We will also have a look on it. We will look on its process goal and the goal diagram. And then there is a breakout activity at the end. We might skip that activity, but we can do it too. Totally depends. And then important thing is like in value streams, how can we improve the structure of our teams so that value could be realized by our users, our customers. Okay, and then there is an other activity at the end. As a senior Scrum Master, obviously it's our role that we should be adding into business agility in our organizational agility, and we can only do it when we are not only working on teams level, but beyond that, including value stream level. What do you think? What is value stream? And do you have value stream in your businesses?
Doctor, I think it's, certain actions required or to be taken for any, the business requirement from starting from the inception till, getting it to the production. This is what I, have an idea of value stream.
Yeah, and certain action that we take, for a purpose, and the purpose is little bit different. Uh, uh, let's ask someone else, Farhan.
I I would say, whatever creates a value for your business at the end, whether it is in tangible or intangible value, which when you start creating that continuously through the way you work would be a value stream.
Okay, yeah, agreed. So basically, like on different points of a workflow, for example, the value we are creating is something that is you can think of like output of a value stream. I agree up to this point. Fahim.
Yeah, so the value stream, I consider value stream as a waterfall. Look at the waterfall. The water is continuously falling and it's reaching from the top to the bottom. So it's the same way the business, value stream is you're continuously delivering value to keep your business, pretty much responding to the business needs and changes. So you're continuously delivering value that brings benefit to your business or your product or whatever you're doing. So that's what the value stream is basically. So
No doubt it's about generation of the value. I agreed. The example you gave was waterfall, but basically it is through a pipe.
yeah, no, I know. I meant the water is continuous. I always try to the waterfall. Water is continuously falling, so you can always get the water. But yeah, it is pipe. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, in fact, the waterfall is like a hurdle in value streams. Our vertical structure of the organization is a big problem in value stream. What we really want is we want our control uh, and flow of information should be horizontal. It shouldn't be vertical or up and down.
I didn't mean waterfall methodology. I meant how the water stream, how the stream of the water flows down. So that's what I meant.
Yeah, true. Now, let's define value stream, and then I will ask you guys that do you have these type of value streams? Basically, these are set of actions. I agreed with Mustafa, and that place to add value. I agreed with Farhan and Fahim, but from a customer viewpoint. Okay, value streams start, continue, and end with a customer. That mean important thing is we are generating value, the value that is realized by customer. For example, just think about your company. When a customer put a new request until customer is served. Okay, this is a value stream. It include not only your development work but operation work, but many other departments. That could be your customer service, could be your legal, could be your billing, could be your HR or procurement or engineering department or inventory department. Too many different things. Means when a customer comes to your business, okay, you do set of actions to serve that customer, and it could be only your team or could be multiple teams or could be a team of cross-functional people working on that value stream. So value stream is all about the customers, starting from customers, continue with the customer, and end at the customer when customer is served. Uh, this is value stream, and obviously the mindset of discipline agile promotes it by optimizing the flow, by developing the teams around products and services, cross-functional teams around products and services. Similarly, the promises that talk about accelerate value realization, and we can do it through value streams. And on value stream, we must be reducing our delays and optimizing our flow by keeping the workload within the capacity. Similarly, on each step of our value stream, we should be validating our learning, and we should be attending relationship through value streams, mean relationship between, for example, development to operations, operations to HR, HR to marketing, so on, so forth. Now, so far, we now just defined value stream. My next question is how many value streams are in your organization? In fact, in each organization, there could be more than one value streams, but you will be answering me not now, but after watching this video. Then you will have much clear concept and you will be able to tell about your value streams in your organization. Okay, I'm starting it, and before starting, yeah, sound is shared.
One of the tenets of Lean is that you need to visualize the work being done so you can understand and avoid challenges across your value streams. But that brings up an interesting question. What is a value stream? A value stream is the sequence of activities an organization undertakes to deliver a product or service, or a family of related products and services to a customer. A value stream begins and ends with a customer. For example, getting a car repaired might include making an appointment, dropping off the car, ordering parts, making the repairs, payment, and pickup. And just like that, we can visualize one of the value streams for an auto repair business. This particular value stream touches many cross-functional business processes and possibly multiple functions. In this case, to handle appointment scheduling, labor management, customer management, parts inventory, and billing. A value stream may be internal to a company, or it may include external suppliers. A value stream starts and ends with the customer in mind. What problems or needs do they have? What can we do to fulfill them? How can we delight the customer in how we do so? How can we do better? All critical questions you should continually ask as an organization.
Okay, guys. So that is one example of value stream. I believe
One of the
that now you will be able to define the value stream in your organizations. Mustafa, what do you think? Can you define a value stream in your organization?
Yes. I apparently, I'm actually first. I have a question, Doctor. I'm actually confused because normally the value stream defines that it starts from the customer and ends with the customer. So I assume that this is always the case. No.
Yeah. But the thing is like how you develop the structure of your organization, how you basically optimize the flow through it. And the thing is like when customer comes to you, then what happens inside the organization? How you optimize the flow so that value should be realized by the customers. They become delighted without wasting the time. I mean, we should be minimizing the delays while serving the customers.
Okay, and by the way, what should I be doing over in this chart?
This particular chart that is in front of you. Now, my first question is, can you define a value stream in your organization?
See, it starts from, various business areas. Let's say if we talk about, any corporate banking initiative, okay, and then it comes to the budget part of it, and then it comes to the documentation and the requirements gathering part of it, and then it went on to the development and to eventually testing and to the release. So this is how it goes about.
Yeah, and this is yeah, agreed. Or even mean if you can take a simple example, a client comes to your bank and like how work start. I mean they come to the teller and then from there work start. They use the software and then many people will be involved and in the end customers will be served. Important thing is like here in value stream the systems are involved. The we need to optimize our systems so that customers should be realizing the value uh, in an efficient manner. Normally, if you look on this diagram here, this is a structure of any organization, and you can clearly see that how an organization is decomposed into different. From CEO to the board of directors, then uh, vice presidents or departmental heads, and under each departmental heads there are the teams. Now this is a hierarchical structure. If a customer comes and the work that is being done is going up and down, okay, then in that case the chances are that value stream is not optimized. The work should flow and the control should flow horizontally, mean a value stream where the uh, information sharing and the work being done should be done by the cross-functional team members or cross-functional teams. It will help us to minimize the delays and will optimize our flow. Here, the focus has shifted not only from development to operations to actual business. Okay. What do you think? What happened in your organization? How works go? I mean, is it like up and down? I mean, work comes and goes to the manager, and then manager sent to another manager, and that manager sent to their team, or it is like more horizontal?
See, in my organization, it totally depends that where it's coming from. Okay,
Yeah.
If if it's the breadwinner of the company, that is, as I mentioned, the corporate banking. So the way of working will totally be different as compared to, if it is, we are talking about the retail banking side. Similarly, if the initiative is from the any regulation authority, so
Yep.
it is the highest priority, and the efficiency and the output of all the things goes at the optimum level. But
True.
it's out of a normal situation, then it's like it totally depends upon teams.
True. In any case, when we talk about work,
Sorry, I need to leave. Sorry, I'll have
yeah,
to leave.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you
yeah.
for your
Thank you.
time.
And in fact, if you guys want, we can finish here and we can continue tomorrow. What do you think?
That's okay.
I'll go with that.